Hey, welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. Everything in this video was found on a public domain. Lots of love and many blessings your way. So when they got back from their joke of a trip in South Africa making their documentary to benefit their foundation, it was told to me they took off to California for just a couple of days. Over the last several months, a realtor has been trying to find them the perfect home, and they found one in Malibu valued at $14 million. They weren't banking on one thing, though. In order for Harry to stay there full time, he would have to go through the spousal visa process. That can take anywhere from 18 months to 3 years to make happen, and it put their California dreams on hold. But don't worry, they have a backup plan. Once they got back home, and everybody started ignoring them in the family because they've totally burnt every bridge they've ever crossed, thinking they were going to run away to Hollywood, they had to hurry up with a plan B, and here it is. And if she can't go back to California right now, she can at least go to the next best place for her, and that's in Canada. You know what? Before I was even given this information, for some reason, my head wasn't wrapped around the fact that she's been plugging and merching the entire time. Listen to this. So she and Harry are dead set on moving to Canada. If they move, it's going to definitely be Canada. Her work brought her to Canada. Remember that, you guys? So why do they feel they need to be there? Suits is over. That's done with. So they've put their team together of realtors to find them the most perfect multi-million-dollar home in Canada. And then I got the truth. Just so happens that her bestie, Jessica Mulroney, the one she put on the payroll as her personal stylist when they first jetted off to New Zealand, remember? She was also in Meghan's wedding. She tried to outdo Pippa. Remember, that was a big deal. She wanted to have her own Pippa moment. Anyway, get on with it. Jessica just landed herself a series called I Do Redo. On Netflix, nonetheless. And who has been asked to guest star on several episodes? Mrs. We were sitting on the couch eating roasted chicken, watching Netflix as I felt the embryonic kicking of feminism. What a gag. It was in the works back then, you guys. When will enough be enough? So yesterday, he and Ed Sheeran decided to talk about mental health around the world. Leading up to that, he put a little teaser out on his Instagram. Well, Meghan did. As Ed presses the doorbell, it plays music, of course, and Harry opens the door. The only problem with that is it wasn't Harry's house. Now, why wouldn't he welcome Ed, of all people, to his home? Now, I'm believing one of two things. Either he and Meghan don't live together like it's always been told, where he stays there on the property in a cottage, and she's at the Soho house in London. Or else it's very true what he and Meghan deny. Like that note he passed around to the community, letting everybody around him know that they are not to be approached. Nobody's welcomed at their home. This must include Ed, obviously. Yet they were adamant in the media that they didn't have anything to do with releasing that letter to the neighbors, where they were being snobs to snobs. Anyway, he goes on, paired up with Ed, talking about mental health, which I thought was hilarious. His forte is mental health, after all. It blows my mind. That would be like me telling people to mind their own business. And of course he's on this Save the Planet crusade, and he had to find a way to wiggle that in, you see, and insult more people in the process. Way to go, Hare. He gave a spiel about a total disconnect between the people and the land on which they live. He acknowledged that people need food, jobs, and energy, but says we cannot let it become more important than taking care of Earth in the meantime. And that the only way communities will begin safeguarding their natural assets is when they're given an incentive to do so. What in the hell does that mean? I'm curious. Plant a tree, get a gas voucher? What's the incentive? Now, if he's talking about if we plant more trees and cut back on the pollution, we'd have better air and more of it. Well, I think he's a little late to the party. Otherwise, he made no sense. Speaking of party, wink wink, cut back a little bit, buddy. Does he intend for us to put less priority on working a job and taking care of our families? And more priority planting trees and bushes, recycling things? I'm just perplexed. If you want to know the truth, I'm baffled. We weren't all raised with a silver spoon up our crack. It's so simple for him to sit there and judge. It's simple for him to say stupid things. He'd feedle up and cry if he had to eat ramen noodles or Spam. But even things like that are good eating for people. He's never had a hot dog dinner in his life. So when he talks about saving the planet, I don't take him serious because I don't know which one he's talking about. Our planet or his. The dress she wore to Lion King that she busted out of was 14 grand. That would be so many trees he could have planted. I'm tired of these people. He needs to stop allowing Meghan to write stupid speeches for him. She's making him look even more weak, less of a man, and just plain stupid. This video is their life. Think about that. She wears the pants between the two of them. She's the leader. Also in his speech, he used the word hippie like it was a real bad, dirty thing. And I have to say, every hippie I've ever met, like myself, we're cool people. We help our fellow man. We save animals. We feed the hungry. We share everything we have. What the hell's wrong with a hippie? How about this, Harry and Meghan? Y'all aren't good enough to be hippies. We wouldn't have you. He took a $13,000 private flight on a helicopter from London to Birmingham, then turned around 2 days later and told 12,000 people in the Wembley Arena to wake up. Our planet's in a crisis. Where he was preaching that our lifestyle was making such a damaging impact on the world. His private helicopter used 5 times the amount of emissions that a car would use and only saved him 40 minutes drive time. That's it. Is this not like total proof that these people don't even know what they're saying to others in these speeches that are not written by them? And they could care such less that they don't even hear themselves speak while giving these speeches. He is literally a puppet. That is it. Just the other day in South Africa, Dr. Myra Wilkes, a psychologist who moved to Australia from Israel as a young girl and who lived in South Africa over the years, was stabbed to death in her home. She was totally ambushed and attacked by a gang of armed robbers. They waited for her husband, Frank, to leave to go to his local synagogue to worship. The group of men climbed onto her roof. They removed the tiles and they dropped down inside the house and stabbed this woman 12 times in the chest and the back before cutting her throat. And out of it, all they got were 2 laptops and a cell phone. She and her husband had been married 45 years. I really can't fathom how much worse the situation would have been for her had she confronted her attackers on the advice of Meghan. Yet the entire time they were there making a documentary, calling it a tour, making sure that all of their hired actors stayed focused, stayed happy, huddled around them, danced in the streets while they humored everybody. It gets old. I'm so burned out with it. They didn't do anything good for anybody while they were there. I didn't see them passing out plates of food to hungry kids, rolling out barbed wire to put around communities. Not even a Stop the Violence t-shirt. Why couldn't they have worn one of those? Yet it's hit the media already, the date and time of this documentary, which is meant to explain everything, quote unquote. Count me out. I'm not up for it. It takes a lot for me not to watch because I'm super nosy. My heart goes out to everybody in South Africa. And not just South Africa, but anywhere. Please don't confront your attacker. I'll see you soon and we'll talk fast. Stay safe and be blessed.